Hi everybody! Welcome back to another episode, a very hot episode of Red Web Live. You know us guys at Red Web, the comic book superhero talk show, where we talk about all kinds of things from hard to soft. Today's one of our lighthearted, go crazy, have fun episodes. We're doing Some Like It Hot, and we're going to be reviewing some of the top superheroes in comics that have fire powers while eating hot wings. Yeah. So we're gonna get on that little bit of that craze. Of course, I'm here at Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy on Anderson in Austin, Texas, where they are donating a Ghost Rider poster, Ghost Rider #1 from 2019, that you can enter to win if you just comment and share our page so that we know that you're out there and watching us, and we will put you in the drawing for this really awesome poster and our sponsors at Dragon's Lair. And then, of course, my hosts with the most, Ms. Anastasia Anderson, and my partner in crime fighting, Mr. Greg Burrow. Of course, they're going to get. Now, Greg is not going to be partaking in the crazy shenanigans today, so he's graciously going to be serving us our wings, or our death in a very slow manner. Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to talk about superheroes with fire powers. Now, it's not very hard to imagine that there are quite a lot of these, because throughout long in literature, there's always been elemental spirits, and so elemental powers, water, earth, etc., are like an easy go-to theme in superheroes, whether it be mutants or metahumans or just their equipment or whatever. So there's quite a bit of those now, and fires is the one we're talking about today. Fire powers go all the way back to the Golden Age. These we're going to thought some there was a very prolific character in the Golden Age named just the Flame, who was a crime fighter with a fire gun, and his I'll forget his girl's name was, but Flame Girl maybe, I think. Yeah, it was Flame Girl. And there was like dozens of fire. Fire was always an easy one to go to. So the thing about a fire superhero is what sets them apart from the rest. And before we get started going down our list, I'm going to introduce our special guest, Mr. John Satbury. If you ever get to watch go to his Instagram page, Dark Lord Have Mercy. That's DarkLordHannercy, Have Mercy. .com, and you can check out some of his amazing. He's a stunt coordinator and teacher, martial arts teacher. So he does like really fun, amazing videos, and he's got some really funny friends. And so yeah, check that out. So he's going to graciously come in and join in the torture with us.
Hot wings.
Hot wings. Woo! Woo! And last thing before I start giving everybody else a chance to talk, we're going to set the rules for what our criteria was for choosing fire characters, just in case we offend somebody at home and we overlook their favorite fire character. So no matter how lame they may be. Sorry, I could not let that out. No, there's really no lame fire characters, I don't think.
We'll find out.
So anyway, we picked just heroes. Lots of cool villains out there with fire powers too. We picked just heroes, and we tried to pick heroes who fire was their whole shtick, not just another part of their repertoire. For instance, Jean Grey, her mutant power is telepathy and telekinesis. It's actually the Phoenix that makes her a fire character. So we decided that without that Jean Grey didn't count. So please don't get mad, because my husband, as you all know, is an X-Men fan, and he's actually quite mad that we didn't use Jean Grey. So that's actually how we're going to be going. There's some from Marvel and from DC, and even from an Image comic or two, right?
There's one from Dark Horse, which is, of course...
Dark Horse. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And there's actually one character that is from the Golden Age.
Oh, which one? Oh, yeah, because we didn't. So, yeah. We're ready to go. So
okay, so I'm going to start things off by letting you guys know we've all of the wings tonight are from Wicked Wings.
Wicked Wings on Slaughter Lane in Austin, and Buffalo Wild Wings on
Little Texas Lane off 35.
Off 35. And they were both really great. Wicked Wings and Buffalo Wild Wings were just really amazing in setting us up and helping us to get this going. So thank you for helping with that. So.
And the first one we're going to be talking about is Firestar, one of my favorites, because, of course, I loved Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends.
That's my favorite nostalgia kid thing.
So Firestar, we're going to be doing Wicked Wings Kickin' Bourbon wings, which have a heat index of 1 of 4.
Actually, it's like a little bit below 1. These are like the mildest ones. So,
right.
I'm hoping I'm saying it's the mildest one, but I haven't eaten it. So if I bite into it, it's hot. I'm like, oh my god, this is where we start. I don't know. We'll tell you. But yeah, the wicked hot, and we are talking about Sunfire or Firestorm.
Firestar, yeah.
Firestar. So yeah, you remember Firestar, right?
Yeah, we met a few years back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I think I told you Laura cosplays as Firestar.
Yeah, Laura cosplays as Firestar,
She
yeah.
does. If we ever need amazing friends, so.
So also we made a ruling that the first wing of the 2 wings that they have in front of them, they have to eat without any type of sauce.
Yeah.
They have to eat it.
We can't cheat with the creamy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no blue
so-
cheese, no ranch, none of that.
Yeah. Now, if you are inspired to eat the second one, you may dip it into blue cheese.
It's like,
But that requires you eating a second one. So it's kind of like, do I want to eat more of the heat but get some of the creamy to kind of hold it back? Or do I want to just keep going? Because it can help or hurt either way, depending on how you do it. So.
Okay, so I guess go ahead and eat your first wing.
All right.
oh my God.
I got 2 here. Are they both the same?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're the same.
This is the, which one?
This one was
Kickin' bourbon.
Kickin' bourbon. Okay.
Cool.
Ooh, they have nice crispy wings.
They do. I really do. So I like them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not spicy at all.
I don't need no sauce with my yard burger.
Right, this isn't the one we have to worry about having sauce with.
Okay, so Firestar, for those of you who don't remember her or weren't around in the 80s, was actually created for television. She's like Harley Quinn, an original character that made their jump over into the comic books and became popular in their own right.
Okay.
They actually have different powers, technically. But in the 80s, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends had created a cartoon show. And they wanted to use the formula from the comic books where Spider-Man was going to college with Iceman and the Human Torch. But for whatever reasons, they ended up not being able to use the Human Torch.
Licensing reasons.
Come?
It was licensing reasons.
The licensing reasons.
As it is for a lot of superheroes.
So what they did was they took their initial sketch models of Mary Jane, and they changed her into a new original fire character named Firestar. And yeah, that's why she has the red hair, which ended up working in the long run with the Firestar kind of character anyway. But she was popular enough that she ended up making it into the comic books. Now, originally, here's a really fun part. In the cartoon, they introduced her as an X-Man, even though, she obviously wasn't previously an X-Man. But she was an X-Man in the cartoon alongside Iceman. But they made it into the comic book. She was not on the X-Men for years.
She was actually introduced in there.
She was introduced in the X-Men, but she was never on the team. She was her first miniseries was her actually escaping everything because of White Queen Emma Frost. So Emma Frost kind of turned her against the X-Men or the Brotherhood completely. And she was on the New Mutants. She even made it to the Avengers before Spider-Man. I'll just make sure this is known. Before Spider-Man, she made it to the Avengers. And then eventually, within the past 10 years, maybe less, they actually have her on the X-Men. So.
Okay.
So her real name was Angelica Angel Jones, because Iceman always called her Angel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
And she actually got her name, the creator named her after one of his girlfriends.
Oh, really?
Aww.
Yeah, nice.
That's so sweet.
And of course, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends came out in 1981. And creators were Dennis Marks, Dan Spiegel,
And John Romita Sr.
yeah, Christy Marks, and Rick Hoberg.
Okay.
Very cool. So, I don't know if you've ever seen her in the comic book or if you ever remember the cartoons or whatever.
Yeah,
Right, I've seen her in
that's what I was about to
cartoons.
say. Firestar, she was in the cartoon in like, what was it, the 80s or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 81.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I mean, I wasn't born yet.
Right, that's same. I'm like, we're not there yet, but yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I remember seeing her in.
Well, it's on
cartoons.
Disney Plus. If you get a chance to watch it, it's very much fun.
It's
And then
worth
also
it.
she was in a couple of comics that were Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends comics,
Mm-hmm.
but those were never canon.
No more canon, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then in May of 1985, she showed up in the X-Men number 193.
Couple of really fun things. One. Oh, I lost it. Oh, one of them. So there's rumors that they might introduce mutants slowly in the MCU,
Hello.
and it's being revealed that Michelle, MJ, that her last name is Jones. So, and then the J stands for
Oh, that's cute.
But yeah, there's a possibility that she might not end up being Mary Jane MJ, that she might be a version of Firestar.
Heard about that.
Yeah.
And that would be cool. So Zendaya?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I heard that off and on, but it was one of those things where it just sort of went over my head, and now it's like, oh, what?
Yeah, because you hear stuff about this stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's the downside to comic drama that like you hear stuff and then stuff just never happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
All right, I'm letting my hot wing. Or it's not hot, but.
Yeah,
No,
so
right now.
There's a little bit of undercut of heat.
and it's actually kind of interesting because later on we'll go back to Firestar in a little bit.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna keep my bone plate here. Or, how are we doing this? Let's make it work.
The graveyard.
The graveyard.
Yeah, those are good. I like that.
There's something else interesting about Firestar that I think I just lost stuff in my brain.
Right? That was big news for me.
Are you done?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Oh, so I'm just slowing.
No, it's okay. I was just trying to I was actually trying not to eat it all and talk, but I was gonna let y'all talk.
But yeah, Firestar was one of my favorites. I love Firestar. Because, Spider-Man was always one of my favorites. And I loved Spider-Man and his friends.
The other cool thing, in the Ultimate Universe, Firestar was actually just a second identity an extra identity that Kitty Pryde used to go out on dates with Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and so the next hero we're going to talk about is Fire, and she's actually got like 3 or more names.
Mm.
She was introduced as Green Fury. She was also known as Green Flame, and she's also been known as Fire. We're going to be having Wicked Wings, Hot Honey. It's another one of a heat index of 1 of 4, Scoville 2,500 to 8,000.
Yeah,
so it should be a little bit something.
Yeah, it's about the heat of a jalapeno.
Mild jalapeno, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have some hot with my wing this time.
A little bit of kick.
It's the plan.
Yeah, that was kind of the hard part with determining some of the heat indexes of these, because sometimes people will just add a little bit, and then sometimes people will pack it real hard.
Mm.
So I wasn't sure how to put it, just, it's hotter than it has been.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There is a difference.
I love the sweet ones. I'm so hard to choose sometimes between like the sweet saucy ones or like the dry rubby ones.
Right.
Oh yeah, there is a little heat difference.
Mm-hmm.
And then it depends on what I'm drinking with it, because like when it's sweet, it cancels out the everything tastes like that.
Yep.
Right?
I'm not drinking anything with this right now. I don't need it.
Right? It's
Oh,
like,
I realized it was a challenge. I would have taken a sip.
Oh, did you? It's strawberry milk. So, I mean, it's hard for me not to take a sip. So.
you guys are strong man in it. It's fine. It's good.
We have to start somewhere.
Right? I'm kind of
Fire.
attempting to save it for later.
Fire is cool. Beatrice Jacosca is actually South American, Brazilian, right?
She's Brazilian.
Brazilian. She first appeared kind of like Firestar, where Firestar originally didn't start in the comics proper. She was one created for a Super Friends comic book. It was based on the Super Friends cartoon, and everybody knows the Super Friends.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, they tried diversifying some of the characters and trying to go international. So in the comic book, they had all the Justice League each team up with somebody in another country and a hero of that country. And Green Fury, how they first appeared to her in the comic book, was the hero of Brazil. And she also was like a diplomatic or something originally.
She was actually the president of the Brazilian arm of Wayne.
Oh yes, that's right. Wayne Industries.
Really?
Okay. Yes, that's why she was on. Okay, that's why she was on the show. Okay. So yes, they ended up bringing her to the regular comics. She was in. They actually brought the whole clutch of them together in one and called them the Global Guardians in DC Comics. And she eventually made her way to Justice League International, which is when she actually really became mostly popular, and met the Icelandic superhero. Again, elements are easy go-to. Ice Maiden, and so they both shortened their names to just Fire and Ice, and they became a crime-fighting team and best friends. And so that was actually mostly all I know about her, other than.
Didn't you say there were rumors? It's like one of these. There's rumors of them coming back somewhere in TV.
I don't know about Fire. I do know that she was recently on TV. She is one of the few to get the live action treatment for television, but it was in the weirdest show. There was one season they had of the show called Powerless, and it was what is the actor's name? I lost it. Wash.
Yeah.
But it's
Now that you said it,
I mean, mad.
Right, your brain's like,
From Firefly. He's no, the other one. Dancing. All right, I'm gonna scream it out. Male.
Man, he was also the robot in Star Wars.
And he was the bad guy in Doom Patrol, and I love him and everything, and now I can't remember his name. Oh, I hate myself.
Wait,
Okay.
he was Mr. Nothing?
Yes. Mr. Nobody, yeah.
Dang it. I don't remember
Alan
his
Tudyk.
name.
Yeah, there you go, Alan Tudyk. Yeah.
Alan Tudyk. Gosh, bless it. Okay, so anyway, Alan Tudyk played on a TV show called Powerless, and basically it was a sitcom set in the DC universe for a section of Wayne Industries that specialized in creating day-to-day products to help people who lived in the city with superheroes. So it was like, like making it like, superheroes are a normal thing of life here. You never know when there's going to be rubble falling or whatever and stuff like that. And he played Van Wayne, Bruce Wayne's cousin. And here's an interesting fact. Van Wayne is actually from early Batman comics. Really did have a cousin. But, and one of their spokespeople was Fire. I think they called her Green Fury on the show though. Her original name. But yeah, she was on that. It was really.
So she was created in October of 1979.
So yeah, she predates Firestar then.
Yep.
And she was on the Justice League or the Justice Prince?
Justice League International.
Super Friends. Yeah, it was Super Friends comic book.
Oh, okay.
Issue number 25 is where she first shows up.
Okay.
And the first canon comic where she shows up in the DC universe was DC Comics Presents number 46 in 1982.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, pre-crisis, she was president of the Brazilian branch of the Wayne Enterprises. And then post-crisis, she was an amateur model on beaches of Rio. She was a showgirl and stage performer. And then she became a top secret agent for Brazilian governments, SNI, Serviço Nacional de Informação, if I can't say it.
Basically, the information
CIA
services.
of Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah, a showgirl, then a CIA agent, because she can't be tough without being sexy.
Yeah. So that was post-crisis, though. And then she became a member of Global Guardians, like you said, and then she joined Justice League International. She was trained by Big Barda.
Okay.
Big Barda.
From Mr. Miracle. Mr. Miracle's one.
Yeah.
From the New Gods Fourth World.
That's cool.
Right? You were like, that sounds neat.
Cool character.
All right,
Like,
then.
good. I'm glad we did that in order because I'm starting to feel the tingle.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
And
one of those-
she was actually she's the longest running member of Justice League International.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay. Yay, we're gonna get to one of my favorites.
One of the things that makes Fire unique, I don't know if we mentioned this or not, and this is the biggest thing. For some weird reason, her firepower turns her into green fire, hence the name Green Flame.
Mhm.
Okay.
And Green Fury and
Green Fury, but yeah, she actually was green, on fire still, but green. So, in fact, one of the funny things is, like, I don't remember when this was, if this was like the early 2000s or something. There was a story in which there was a scandal because she's like Human Torch. She just turns into this green flame being, and so she has no actual costume.
Right, because it keeps she's engulfed in flames.
She's engulfed in flames, but of course, engulfed in flames, they still draw her super curvy. And so pictures get out, and parents groups start accusing her of being naked while she's fighting crime. It was like,
Sort of. That's not wrong.
but just because you can't see the clothes, and she's got fireproof underwear or whatever, I don't know. She said, but
Right? It's
Yeah.
one of those things where it's like, okay,
yeah. So
okay.
it was funny.
So really quick, before we get off fire, I have to do one of my rants. It's one of my biggest rants for the DC Universe online game.
Yes, give us
She does look
words.
like she's naked because of her navel.
I loved that game so much when it first came out, and I played it for a long time, and then they started nerfing things everywhere.
Really?
And there was like several bugs that started going on. It became, anyways, the developers started blaming the players and not fixing things and like changing things that didn't need to be changed.
That sounds about right.
And so, like, I had this really great guild that I was part of, and we had so much fun together, and most of us just kind of flipped the table and left. But one of the biggest things they did was one of the funnest fights in the entire game was wanted poster run
Killer Frost.
with Killer Frost. Killer Frost is so powerful in this game that she can one-shot you no matter how powerful you are.
Yeah.
Really?
She's like insanely powerful. So there's no way you can take her by yourself.
Yeah.
You have to have a whole bunch of people come together to take her down.
As it is with world bosses.
Yeah, but the thing is that fire spawns in the same place for the villains. So the villains have like bounty hunter runs, and so
Right.
they can go and they can take out fire, right? And she's kind of like their version of Killer Frost, where she can one-shot them and stuff like that. So she's equal with Killer Frost. So what we would do is we would aggro Killer Frost,
Okay.
and we would drag her over to where fire was, and they would immediately start fighting each other.
Really? I
And
dig
so
it.
that was wonderful because as with just one character, you could actually take out Killer Frost by having fire help you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was so much fun because it's the only fight in the entire game where you actually feel like a hero is going all out and helping you.
Right.
Because
Aw.
throughout the game, one of the biggest problems I have with the game is like,
Like, what are you
whenever
actually
you're
doing to
fighting,
that guy?
whenever you're with Superman, Superman's always like, oh, kryptonite. You know, oh, help me, go, take out Metallo. I can't do anything. I'm over here, and or like with Batman, you're fighting Brother Eye, and Batman's like, oh, I gotta hack this computer to keep him off of me. Go, you go fight.
Right.
So it's
It
like,
ruins the wish fulfillment.
I need my bell.
Yeah, fair. It ruins the wish fulfillment to not have.
We got 6 others to go through, and we're like already like 20 minutes in.
I'm sorry, but that's my biggest rant is that I hated when they did that. And
We
then
take
like,
fire out.
It's okay,
fine.
Greg.
well,
Express
they
your
didn't take
feelings.
fire out, but they
Made it where they don't
nerfed. I mean, basically what happens is whenever they encounter each other, they just ignore each other now.
Okay.
Aww.
So they don't even
But
acknowledge
That's fun,
each
though.
All right, so where are we? We're at number 3. Number 3, we're going to skip from Marvel or DC. Now, this is another one like Fire, who is hot, but she's really hot because she burns blue instead of yellow. Some of the comic books I've seen them recolor it the other way, but in the TV show and then a lot of the tie-in media especially, she's got like a hot white-blue flame. So
Yes.
I think that's actually really cool. That separates her. She is from
Liz Sherman.
Liz Sherman.
Liz
With
Sherman.
no code name needed.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hellboy.
just Liz, huh?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Liz Sherman from Hellboy. Just like,
Hellboy's
Hellboy.
crush
It's not very
in the movies.
It's
Yes.
his girlfriend.
So, Liz Sherman, when her powers manifested, she accidentally killed her family. I think she was
11.
11.
Yeah.
And so she was taken into the BRPD, for those of you in the know, the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense from Hellboy, which Hellboy is obviously an agent.
And really quick, I want to say really quick that these wings
what
that
are
we're
we
eating
eating?
right now are the Buffalo
These are-
Wild Wings Caribbean Jerk.
Kirby Jerk.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ooh,
it's
I like
heat
these.
index of 2 of 4, Scoville 100,000 to 350,000.
I like these.
I do too.
So there you go.
Got a little bit of a kick.
It's weird, but I'm kind of into it.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I love it.
Mm. This is good.
Clear the signs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to hold on to the other one, I think, if I'm gonna be able to get through
Yeah. So the very
5 more
obvious
flavors.
blue flame girl from Hellboy. That is Liz.
And we haven't seen her. She's actually fun, played by dang it.
Someone player, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Selma Blair. She's really cool.
Oh my god, it is Selma Blair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the second Hellboy, I think, more than the first. I haven't seen the last one.
Did you?
Mm.
I haven't seen it.
The last one was.
Or I haven't seen the
interesting,
reboot.
But it's not with Ron Perlman.
Right, I
It's,
haven't
it's
seen
totally
that.
different, yeah.
Yeah, the last one's a reboot, an unnecessary reboot. They could have told that same story with Ron Perlman
It's the third.
and had somebody else other than father, since father's already dead,
Yeah.
play that part.
Right, I'm like, Ron Perlman's still alive. Use him in things.
Yeah, and he's probably was cheaper. I doubt very sincerely that David Harbour would. But anyway.
And she first appeared in Hellboy: Seed of Destruction in 1994.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, so she's definitely one of the newest ones on this list.
And of course, Mike Mignola created her.
Looking at this, she's the most recent on this list,
That
actually.
Hellboy, he's separate from, I know he's not DC.
Yeah, he's on. He's
Dark Horse, I thought.
Okay.
Right? It's like we're starting to
So
pick up.
won't be seeing him in the MCU.
No, I wish.
Oh wow, I kind of want to eat another one, but I'm feeling it now, and I'm like worried.
Right? See, it's starting to pick up. Like, I'm seeing more people reaching for drinks and reaching for, like, food, and I'm like, oh.
So
we're
I
getting
really, really
serious.
like the flavor of this. I really am going to eat this, but I'm going to try and see if I eat the next spicy one.
This one's good.
It is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's like I was dumb and full of hubris and ate the first two without any sauce. Just ate both of them, and so now I'm like,
All right, we got sauce.
right? I forgot it was there.
Yeah,
Like
I haven't used it yet.
It's like that's the downside of taping these things because suddenly my like sight line is from here to here.
I do that too. Yeah.
It's like I'm staring at the screen, the board, and the door, and suddenly it's like, oh right, I have stuff sitting here.
Well, the thing is that these first three are also sweet, and I like the tangy ones in the.
That's also my problem is I don't usually eat the sweet sauces.
I want to
so
say this.
like
Hold on, I gotta save this one because I'm gonna eat it.
Are you gonna save that one too?
I'm safe.
Yes.
Save it.
Yeah. Yeah, just bring us the next ones and then we can just boo them over. We'll still have the 2-plate rotation. Thank you.
Right, just so we don't.
We had a system, guys. Both Buffalo Wild Wings and Wicked Wings. They like very sweetly like separated them up for us and made sure we had each one of each, and so yeah. It's.
Is this the next level right here?
That is the next level.
All right.
Do we have anything else to say about Liz Sherman?
I love Liz Sherman.
Selma Blair did an amazing job.
She did.
Actually, I like her portrayal better in the animated movies.
Rewatch the movies, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Rewatch Hellboy.
They're Hellboy animated movies.
She doesn't do much in Hellboy though.
No, but I still like her in
And
it.
it's been a while since I've seen it. I don't remember there being too much in the first, but I remember in the second one there was a lot more. Of course, there's a lot of action in the sequel.
She did more action in the second one.
Okay, I need to.
Yeah, in the first one, it
That
was
was
more
one
of a
that
character arc of her trying to come to terms with her powers.
Yeah.
Because she was basically locking herself up because she was afraid of hurting people.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
We're talking about doing a kind of a martial arts critiquing of superheroes episode. The
Right, stunt
Hellboy 2,
coordinator.
Hellboy 2 and the golden
the big, yeah.
those were some good
Yeah.
scenes.
Well,
Those
the
were some-
guy that he was fighting in Hellboy 2, that was the same guy that Blade fought in Blade 2. So
Oh!
that's why that guy was.
Really?
Yeah, that's why
That's
he
okay.
was such a badass. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
God, now I'm gonna watch
Okay.
all the Hellboy movies and
Oh, you're already
Blade
talking
again.
down the next one?
Okay.
well,
So,
that-
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Yeah, we're ready for the
Fireboard.
next one. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Go.
Right. So
I'm
this is
scared
Buffalo
now.
Wild Wings, and this is their new orange chicken flavor.
Oh, it's the orange chicken. Okay, so it's really, really orange. So I'm like, oh my god, this has got to be like insanely spicy. But if it's like orange in it, and it's not just like red chili sauce, then
And it's got a heat index of 3 out of 4, so it's going to go 15,000 to 30,000.
It's actually less depending on how much spice they pack into their orange chicken sauce.
So is this one less or more? This is more, but this is supposed to be hotter than the last one, right?
no.
We're just doing them in a weird order. We haven't rearranged
We
them
tried really hard to guesstimate
yet.
them.
Ooh.
This one should have gone lower,
Ooh.
but it's still really, really good.
Oh, this is dangerous.
Ooh.
So this is Firelord, Prius Krill, Herald of Galactus.
Oh.
Herald of Galactus. I love it.
That sounds
So
powerful.
Firelord is cool because he's one of those ones that starts off as the bad guy. Well, I guess antagonist.
So kind of like Silver Surfer?
He is exactly like Silver Surfer.
Okay.
Exactly.
he is one of the Silver Surfer's replacements.
Yeah, once I heard Herald of Galactus, I was like, oh, Silver Surfer.
Yeah, he was a replacement for Herald of Galactus, and came into conflict constantly with both Fantastic Four and Silver Surfer, which is really cool with Fantastic Four because he actually, for the first time, Johnny Storm, Human Torch, has competition. That fire character that's actually, at that time in the comics, was more powerful than him. Fire-Lord's really cool, but eventually he, like a great deal many of Galactus's heralds, I don't know why he keeps doing it, turned against Galactus, and he's actually more of a anti-hero. He's not really a villain, but he uses the power to protect his place, and he's a little bit more his home, and he's a little bit more, angry. He's like an angry fire guy.
Yes, but you gotta tell them the big thing about Sunfire.
No, not Sunfire. I thought we were on Fire Lord.
We're on Fire Lord.
Oh, Fire Lord.
Yeah, Fire Lord.
So the next one's gonna be real
Next
cool.
one's fun, sorry.
The next one has some cool did you knows.
Yeah, Fire Lord was first appears in Thor 225 in 1974. He's actually been around long. He was one of the earlier replacements, one by one of our favorite creators, my favorite creators, Jerry Conway and John Buscema. Fire Lord, I always thought Fire Lord was cool. He was on the 90s cartoon. They used him in that cartoon. He made an appearance.
Picture of him?
The audience gets the pictures. I don't know. I don't know if they show them properly.
I did see a couple flashes. I think I was just like, my head was down.
Fire Lord's the one who uses the flaming baton to fight with.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it looks real cool.
He's really cool. And speaking of Galactus and other ones, we actually didn't use Nova. Frankie Ray was a girlfriend of Human Torch's, and she ended up taking over and became a character named Nova, who was a flaming star, who was basically the female counterpart to Fire Lord. Interesting fact, the blonde army soldier in the first Fantastic Four movie with Johnny Storm when he's flirting. No, in the second one with the Silver Surfer. The second one, the blonde one that he keeps flirting with, that's actually Frankie Ray is that character. She would have been like maybe in the sequel Nova.
Okay, I'm like, who? Okay.
I hate when they put these.
The two, there were two soldiers. It was the black dude and then the girl. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, you were like, the blonde?
I'm like, what?
There was only one black guy.
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry, but
It's the guy from the Mist. And then
I really do enjoy the first two Fantastic Four movies. Everybody
I had a blast.
Everybody
I
disses those movies so bad, especially if you see the director cuts when they have some of the stuff that like I love some more of the Things interactions with Alicia.
I'm not saying they're good. I'm saying I enjoy.
They did their job. They were entertaining.
Yes.
And they were what I consider more family friendly.
Michael, I can't say his last name, Chiklis or whatever. His thing was on point. And Chris Evans was amazing.
Of course, as you want to be.
There are two problems I have with Fantastic Four movies. One, they really underused Jessica Alba. They just basically used her as window dressing, and they didn't give her a character because she's got talent, and she could have really pulled some stuff off.
She has so much
potential.
potential.
You're right.
They told you that's the biggest problem they have with those movies. The second thing is that they went for cheap comedy stuff that, like Mr. Fantastic dance.
Sight gag. Okay, well, you know what? Bring that up when we get. You got a chance. You're gonna have a chance again to bring up the movies.
Yeah.
It's like
it's promised.
Yeah, which future episode potential wise, we're just gonna all of these moments where you watch us project our feelings, we're just gonna do that.
Yeah, we're
in
gonna
like a podcast at some point.
Yeah, it was just like grouchy old man complaining.
Right,
Let's let these youngsters think of my superheroes.
Right, we'll all just sit in a kumbaya circle and just complain.
Right.
It'll be great.
Not me. I love everything.
I love everything. I can still complain though. It's like I complain about a lot of things, and I'm still like, I love it.
I've seen you complain. Don't give me that.
That's not me. That's goodness gracious.
Right. It's like this is just going to be my little extras plate. We're just gonna put this guy in the corner.
Well, I'm gonna eat this. Okay, fine. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm in a rush. I'll come back to you.
Oh yeah, no rush.
Right on track.
What are we doing? Oh, okay.
It's one of those things where it's like I'm trying to give it
Different than
time.
anything. This is.
It looks spicier.
Like I'm trying to give it
I mean,
time
it
to like
says-
relax.
It says Thai, so
Oh, is this a Thai one?
this could
Yeah.
be.
All right.
This
be
could be
Oh,
anything.
it's Thai curry. Okay, Thai
This is
curry.
like, oh, I can smell it.
I can
This
smell it.
is
I can smell the
sunfire.
curry now.
Bring on
So
the
this
funk.
is Sunfire.
This
Sunfire.
is Sunfire, Buffalo Wild Wings, Thai curry, heat index 3 of 4, Scoville 50,000 to 100,000.
And go.
All right. So, who's gonna tell us about Sunfire?
It's
Sunfire.
like, well, you gotta do the big truth bomb about Sunfire before
There's
I
several
forget.
truth bombs.
Which one? Oh, the one that you had to forgot about. That they left
Yes,
him out.
that you told me, and I was like, what? What?
So before Marvel, Sunfire was created in Giant Side's X-Men, and he was one of the International X-Men that was created that Chris Claremont created. And that's where you first have Wolverine and Wolverine from Canada, Colossus from Russia.
Actually, he was created before that.
He was created before that, but he was put on the team to represent Canada. And
Sunfire was from
the
Canada.
Japanese representative
Yeah,
was
talking.
Sunfire.
Yeah.
And the thing about Sunfire is he did that adventure and then like a couple others, but he never actually joined the X-Men proper because he was more of like, you know what, I've got fires to put out in my own backyard or start. But so he stuck around and became like the premier hero of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
Shiro
cool.
Yoshida.
Yeah, Shiro Yoshida. Two really fun things. One, he actually had an appearance in the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends in an episode as a love interest of Firestar. And two, at one point, and this is before Disney bought Marvel, there was a comic book series called Big Hero 6 in which it was a Japanese superhero team led by Sunfire. But when Marvel came in and did a thing and made the movie, the movie is lovely. I love the movie. But they made it sans Sunfire because they didn't want to connect it to the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, which
Which is why Stan Lee makes an appearance.
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's like for all of you who were like,
Big
oh,
Hero
that
6.
whole Stan Lee thing, that was
okay.
weird.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently that meant something.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just a random caveat, and then he shows up, and it's like, it's true. He shows up in all of his movies. Just for people like, for normies like me, who never knew that, I was just like, oh, this was a fun, I was like, oh, this is a fun random movie with superheroes. And it's like, oh,
I
no.
still thought that even though I saw the Stan Lee cameo.
Right? Even when I saw the Stan Lee cameo, I was like, oh, this is just like a fun caveat. It's a superhero movie. So someone's going to like joke about being related to Stan Lee, and then it's like, oh, what?
It was.
Ooh. It's like, that's it. It's like, that's that curse of Thai curry. It's like I didn't feel it as I was eating it, but now it's settling, and it's like, oh.
You're right. It's not hot in my mouth. It is a little, not spicy hot, but a literal warmness.
Taco
Yeah.
doesn't play fair.
It's
Taco
a-
does not play fair.
It's one of my favorite things about that type of food because it sits in your chest. It doesn't actually sit like up here.
Yeah.
I can still feel it, but I'm not like dying yet.
Big Hero 6 on Disney Plus?
You know, I have not yet.
Yes. It's one of those, I could have sworn I'd seen it, but now that I say it, I'm going to go to Disney Plus.
Well, when it
after
was
this.
on Hulu, they only had the animated series, which is not CGI'd. It's traditional cell shaded,
animated,
so
yeah.
animated. So I never watched it.
Yeah.
But now that right, we haven't checked Disney Plus for
But
it.
yeah, his first appearance, Sunfire's first experience.
Oh, you're just no, Sunfire. Oh crap! I thought you were talking about Wolverine. I'm sorry.
No, Sunfire.
Sunfire. So
Yeah.
Sunfire actually also appeared in the comics before.
Wolverine
Giant
was in
size.
Hulk first, but
Yeah, that I knew.
yeah,
That everybody should know.
Sunfire
Wolverine
was
first
in
appeared
X-Men
Hulk.
number 64, January 1970. And
Okay,
the creators
so
were Roy Thomas and Don Heck.
okay. So yeah. So okay. How many others secretly appeared before?
Right.
I'm curious. If because I didn't know Sunfire was already pre-existing Giant Size.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still the same thing though. They were trying to pick one person from each country. You know, Nightcrawler being German, et cetera, et cetera. But in the first one, their North American representative, Thunderbird, was like a Native American style superhero, died, and so Sunfire's like, yeah, this is not a thing for me. So he didn't stick around. Neither did Banshee, right? So,
Didn't think so.
That's my knowledge of Sunfire. Oh, no, wait, actually, cool thing, Sunfire. One of my favorite Marvel series of all time. And that's because I love Judd Winnick. He did, and it was the only X-Men series I read at the time too, because, you know, all the crossovers, it's hard to keep up with stuff. They had an amazing book called Exiles, and they were like quantum leap type X-Men, where they would go from world to world, alternate reality to fix things that got broken and set like time right in these alternate realities. So they basically was like it was almost like Sliders, but for X-Men. And they ended up picking up an alternate reality on Sunfire's sister named Sunfire.
Okay.
And she was really cool, and she was one of the early LGBTQ representation in comic books, because we talk about in my gay superhero panel. But like Judd Winnick wrote her in, and she had a really amazing affair with Mary Jane Watson in one of the realities. So, Mary Jane Watson, Spider-Woman, just so you know.
Okay, so there's a spider.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna preface this question with, I don't know as much about comics as they do.
They're just here to help
There's
us
a
out.
Spider-Woman and a Spider-Gwen.
Well, actually, Spider-Gwen is Spider-Woman of her world. They just market her as Spider-Gwen here. Like, if you pick up a
She's actually
Spider-Gwen
called Ghost
comic.
Spider now.
No, yeah, she's called Ghost Spider now. But if you
Okay.
pick up her Spider-Gwen comic and read it,
Yeah.
she doesn't go around telling everybody her real name is Gwen.
Right.
Yeah,
In
she's
her
also
world.
Spider-Girl.
In her world, she is Spider-Woman.
Oh, okay.
Now, she
It's
comes
kind of-
over to the other world, and there's already another Spider-Woman. They're like, okay, there's Spider-Gwen or whatever.
Right, it's just one of those nicknames we gave.
When she's amongst our other spiders in the comic book, yeah, she'll do it. But that's what they market her as, Spider-Gwen.
Okay, well, you said Mary Jane.
And there's an alternate reality where Mary Jane is Spider-Woman.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so
And
it's like,
for example, the continuity in the comics, the Marvel comics, is Earth 616.
Oh, yeah.
So there's literally hundreds of thousands
Okay.
of different. I mean, like every time somebody makes a decision,
It's
or
splits.
it splits. There's a different, so it's an infinite number of, possibilities.
Have you ever seen Sliders? Where they just kind of
I
keep
know what it
going
is, yeah.
with her show?
Yeah.
Okay.
oh, I was just going to say that
Exiles
there's a
was like-
Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
But
it's
then-
basically that.
but it's more
That's
as-
what came.
But in this one, they have this thing where they jump from world to world, because each world they have a mission. Something is going wrong on that timeline, and they have to fix that timeline. So they jump from world to world. Like the third volume had like the best gay Wolverine Hercules story that you will ever want to read.
Interesting.
And so another universe where Wolverine and Hercules are lovers, and they are amazing. So
Damn.
it's a fun book, and like I said, Sunfire was actually one of the Blink and Sunfire are two of the most common reoccurring characters in it.
Okay.
So next
She's
one,
on board.
Human Torch, Buffalo Wild Wings.
This should be
Oh, we're getting
James
closer? Okay.
Jalapeno.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's what I'm
James
surprised.
Jalapeno.
I'm surprised too, because I'm
He
feeling
gets a 3 of 4.
All right.
Scoville 2,500 to 8,000. So this one's not going to be as hot, guys.
Our bad.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's
Oh no. I'm scared.
I'm busting out the blue cheese. I just licked my fingers. All right.
I'm scared.
So the first one, no sauce.
Oh, I can smell it.
This is my favorite one. Wait, no, which one is? No, what is this one?
Jam and jalapeno.
Okay, no. Yeah. Okay, so we got more than 3 to go. Good. This is hot. Well, I like it.
Right, that's the worst part is a lot of these. I'm like, I'm actually kind of into these.
Well, I wasn't knowing what to expect with this one. Like, I know what Thai curry is, and
Right?
the
That's
name
what,
of this one didn't give any
What's
clue.
gonna happen?
right, my preference is
If I'm gonna get to the point where I've had so many wings,
that you're
where
just
even if it's tasty, I'm not.
That's
it's like,
why
it's like, but I've eaten 20 already, so it's not.
That's kind of why it's like I'm taking all of my extra wings and putting them aside because I'm like, it's one of those, if we get to the end of this and we don't die, then I can go
I'm gonna
back.
eat those.
Yeah, I can go back and nibble through the rest of these because a lot of these are really good. But
Yeah, I'm gonna eat those. But
whenever I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, I get spicy garlic. And that's like the only one I eat whenever I go there.
I'm saying with certain places, yeah.
So most of these places most of these flavors I've never had.
Might as well just not even have a menu.
So this one's actually kind of two characters. We're going to start off with the Golden Age Android version, Jim Hammond.
So yeah, Human Torch, like I said, going back to the Golden Age when they first did comic books, was an easy one to go to. And before Marvel was Marvel,
Timely
Comics had Human Torch, and he was one of their most popular characters. And the cool thing about him, Jim Hammond was the name they eventually gave him, but he wasn't really human, despite being called Human Torch. He's an android that accidentally caught fire when they created him. I don't know, and somehow that became his superpower, which is funny, but
don't try this at home.
Don't try this at home. So Human Torch, the original Human Torch is cool in so many ways. Not only do they continue to use him in the comic books alongside the other one, the modern version.
We're starting to crack, boys.
I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Okay.
Mine actually wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be. I'm starting to feel.
I got something. I got something right in my nose because I was talking too fast. Okay.
Right. It's once you start talking that it like starts kicking back, and you're like, no.
So the disturbing thing about the original
superpower,
right?
I hope so. We gotta get something out of this.
The original Human Torch, most disturbing thing about him was his sidekick was Toro, a little boy that he adopted who also turned into flames. But this kid's costume literally consisted of a Speedo in a year before Speedos were like a thing. Like, and when they go back and they talk about disturbing sidekick tropes, having the kid be completely like almost naked, it just cracks me up. But the most incredible, my favorite little fun trivia trip about the original Jim Hammond Human Torch is if you go back and watch Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yes.
When they're at the Stark Expo, they literally have a display with the android in it.
Really?
What?
And the costume and everything. And it's meant to be like a double nod, like because you're back in time. So it was, of course, that was where they first created in the story, Marvel, the android for the World's Fair. So that was kind of a little Easter egg. But also making fun of the fact that Chris Evans played both Human Torch and Captain America.
So big question.
I need to go watch that again.
What was Timely Comics' 3 main superheroes of that era?
Was it Captain America and Namor?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Invaders.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, he's one of the handful of characters that
Comics #1, October 1939. And it's kind of interesting because he was created by Carl Burgos, who was the writer and the artist of the book. So he did it all by himself. And his partners were Toro and Sun Girl.
Sun Girl, okay. And then eventually Sun Girl, she became a Marvel name, so I don't think.
And what was his secret identity?
Of who? Jim Hammond. Yeah.
What was his secret identity?
I don't remember what.
He was a New York City police officer.
Phineas Wharton?
No.
Am I reading right?
Phineas Wharton was the
creator.
The guy who made the
android. Okay.
But he disguised himself as a New York officer.
That cough was in my eye.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's happening, guys.
Okay.
This is what you came to see.
Right?
We're doing this for you.
Hot wings in the eye.
Okay.
You can't get that on another podcast.
There'll be some damn footballs.
Oh, God. I'm still just staring at it like, we have 2 more, and I feel too safe. And I'm like, I don't like this.
Okay.
Like, I'm like,
so now we're going to go to the Silver Age.
Silver Age, yeah.
Fantastic Four #1, we get Johnny Storm.
Yeah, so Stan Lee's the famous Fantastic Four.
the one you guys know.
The one you guys know is also named the Human Torch. And like I was talking about elemental powers, when Stan Lee created the Fantastic Four, they were supposed to represent the elements. You know, Mr. Fantastic is water because he's fluid. Invisible Girl is like the air because you can't see her. You know, the Thing is stone because he's earth. And then, of course, Human Torch is fire. So, you know.
That's one of those I get it, but if you tried to justify it now, I'd be like, boo.
It's a little abstract, yes, it's a little abstract. Which is funny because when he created the X-Men, he got more literal. Okay, fine. We have an angel in the air. We have an animal on the ground. We have a guy who was actually made out of ice.
It's like, it's superheroes. Don't give me a reason. I know. Whatever.
I know. You know, prime time. Human Torch, long time.
1961 November is when
Fantastic number one came out. Longtime friend of Spider-Man in the comic books. Some of my favorite interactions ever. My favorite stories ever. There's this artist I really love, Scotty Young. He did this really fun, but actually kind of touching Human Torch miniseries called Playing with Fire. It's just one of my favorites to this day. Yeah, Human Torch is always a cool character, and of course, played by Chris Evans in the first movie, and then the infamous Michael B. Jordan in the weird remakey thing.
Before becoming Killmonger.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
funny, because that's why I was like, man, what can we do to get Captain America to meet Killmonger in the Marvel universe? But
well, and it's like it's so weird because now that you mentioned that he had such a relationship with Spider-Man, I'm like, oh, not another missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
well, also, one of my favorite things in the comics was there was actually during Secret War they did a Spider-Man Valentine special comic with Mary Jane and Spider-Man, where Spider-Man actually Peter Parker made Mary Jane a bracelet that was a web shooter.
Yeah.
And so he takes her out on the town and he teaches her how to use it. So if she's ever in trouble, she can web somebody to get away.
So, and Human Torch.
And he actually, like, with her, they like prank Human Torch. He's coming back and they like do web bats at him as he's going to his car and stuff. He's like, Peter, you know.
Well, the first appearance of Spider-Man, the first issue of Amazing Spider-Man, after Spider-Man became popular from Amazing Spider-Man 15, they gave him his own comic book, and to keep the crossover going, the very first issue of Amazing Spider-Man has Spider-Man breaking into the Fantastic Four headquarters.
Oh, yeah.
And one of my favorite modern stories with Dan Slott was when Peter had his own company, and because the Fantastic Four were broken up, the building went on sale. So he made that his New York headquarters, and he did that because he wanted to protect it for the memory of his friends, until they could get it back. But Human Torch didn't know that. Human Torch was mad that he stole their building.
That's one of those things where I'm like, this is why you need to let Spider-Man grow up.
Right,
so
exactly.
all these cool stories can happen.
So he's running the company, and he's got the Fantastic Four building, and Human Torch breaks in and gets caught in the same trap that they caught Spider-Man in Amazing Spider-Man #1 that's on the cover. And I love it because Spider-Man, he's like, you booby trapped me? And Spider-Man's like, yeah. But he's like, what is this? He's like, it's like, you don't get it? It's the two. It's the two.
It's like, it's so foreboding watching him take the rest of them out of the cooler and just like, because the cooler's
oh my
turned
God,
on its side.
hot ones. Okay.
So you can see it like
I'm gonna get a little
opening up. You can see the latch opening up and him just slowly putting the wings on, and it's like, oh God.
It's just two different types of wings left, or something.
Yep, we're down to the last two wings.
We went through 6 flavors.
But I'm gonna tell you this right now. This one's gonna be a really hard one to talk about because there's a lot to talk about. The next two are kind of crazy.
Damn.
The next two are kind of crazy because it's not just one person. I mean, these last 3 are really.
These ones, yeah.
They're good. We're gonna.
It's convoluted.
Cool thing about Human Torch is that there was more than one Human Torch, and there's a lot of legacy characters. It's kind of one of the biggest booms that we have in diversity in comics these days is having legacy characters and other characters take over. That gives you a chance to diversify, especially with diversity. I don't know. But so the last 2 characters are actually not single characters, rather groups of characters, or the character where the name is passed on, or legacy characters and things of that nature. So strap in, because I want to taste one of these wings first before I start talking.
I know. I'm like, oh God, help us. Okay, so
let me introduce the wings first.
Yeah, and then we eat.
Oh, luckily this is not too big.
Okay.
Oh yeah, these are.
So this character that we're going to be talking about now is Firestorm. This is a Wicked Wings Mango Habanero.
Yes.
Heating index 3 of 4.
That Scoville rating's down there. I remember I put that in there first.
And it's 100,000 to 350,000 Scovilles.
Just sorry,
So,
guys.
as you'll see by my t-shirt, Firestorm is my absolute favorite DC Comics character.
Oh, okay.
I got Firestorm for sure. So Firestorm is my favorite DC Comics character. So he was not the first comic book that I owned, but it was the first comic book that I bought with my own money from a comic book shop and actually started collecting. I'm missing one issue of the original run, and it makes my world.
It's like I have to peel this off first. I gotta be efficient about this.
But so
Or we're just not gonna
Firestorm
make
was
it.
created in where
Oh my god, I can feel my hands.
we lost our prompt here.
I can feel my hands starting to tingle. I'm like,
All right,
oh,
let me
sweet
think about it.
God, yeah.
Let me think about it.
Lord help us all.
Okay, so
Mm.
first appearance was Firestorm with Nuclear Man #1 in March of 1978. And the first version of Firestorm is Ronnie Raymond and Martin Stein.
So here's the
fused
coolest.
together.
Here's the absolute coolest thing about the character of Firestorm, is whereas most superheroes have a secret identity, he has two, because he's actually two people merged into one. So basically, the trick is this: a scientist is creating a nuclear fusion plant.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I did my homework on this one, so I'm like.
Yeah. So for
Right, you're like, yes, I know
those of you
this
who
one
don't
this
know,
time.
like the main goal in nuclear physics is trying to find a fusion. So most nuclear power is created by fission, which is breaking atoms apart, and you get a lot of leftover waste and mess and stuff like that. But nuclear fusion is much cleaner and less, but it's hard to do. And so this guy created this nuclear fusion reactor, but it was sabotaged. And while he was there working on it late at night, at the same time, a high schooler who was trying to impress his girlfriend, Ronnie Raymond, joined an activist group, because remember, this is 1978, they were like, all anti-nuke and stuff, I mean, with good reason, but whatever. So he joined this activist group because they thought that, that the power plant was going to damage their town, when it was meant to do the opposite. Anyway, the terrorists tie them up, and they get kaboom boom together in this nuclear meltdown. And the way their life is saved is because the fusion reactor, logically, fuses them together into one person and gives them this like immense power of nuclear energy and fire and flame. He does have a secondary power of being able to rearrange matter on an atomic level, which is kind of a cool. That was always my favorite. And he first appeared in the Super Friends cartoon. His first cartoon appearance was in Super Friends with Cyborg, who we talked about. So they were the new team members of that last season of the Super Friends. Jerry Conway, again, he's one of our favorite creators. He did a lot of fun stuff. I really, up until John Ostrander came on, and I like the John Ostrander run too. But that's where Killer Frost comes from. So originally she was a villain and the archenemy of Firestorm, but because of the Flash TV show, they've made her more into a hero now.
Really?
Huh. Yeah, because she's Killer Frost on the free TV show. She's just Frost now. They even, use her as
What?
Yeah.
The killer sounds cool.
I know it does.
You can't be Killer Frost.
Right?
If you're not, if
The
you're good, yeah.
alliteration sounds better.
Yeah. But so yeah, the cool thing about them though is that them being fused together was not the end of it. They actually played with what they called the matrix of combining different people together. And there was a Russian superhero who had a similar origin named Mikhail Ardakin. They called him Pozar, which is a Russian sun god. And as they were trying to fight terrorists, they dropped the bomb and they merged together, and it was like a three-part psyche. But then the drama didn't even stop there. He bonded with an African elemental spirit, and it was this really cool for like one issue lion-faced Firestorm, which I really liked.
That was 1989.
Yes. Until, of course, they retooled him and revealed that not only that Professor Stein was supposed to get the powers because the fire elementals of the earth wanted him to be a fire elemental, but it was because Ronnie had the meta gene that he was able to transform during the explosion that caused them to bond. So what they ended up doing is they ended up turning and getting rid of Ronnie altogether, and the professor just became this Earth elemental Firestorm, who was so powerful he couldn't stay on the Earth anymore because he just wanted to explore the universe as an elemental and stuff like that. It was really funny because when he came back, he had been so distant that he'd grown into such large proportions because he forgot, you know, any sense of comparison. So he came to the Earth, he was like giant. But then it didn't stop there. In the 2000s, they rebooted the entire series, but this time without Ronnie, because, you know, separated or whatever, and had Dan Jolly, Chris Cross, who we all love as one of our comic book heroes. It made Jason Rush Firestorm, and this time, after he gets the nuclear power, he's able to use it by bonding with whoever he wants to. He did it for a while with Firestorm's girlfriend, Firehawk, who, as you know, she sounds like is another fire character, but looks like a bird. And then his girlfriend for a while. And after Flashpoint, they rebooted everything, where they brought Ronnie back, and now the composite was Ronnie and Jason.
And they're both teenagers.
They're both teenagers. Interesting.
Yeah, both the same age.
They swallowed the God particle.
Yeah,
but here's the thing.
Man,
here's the thing about Firestorm.
That's hysterical.
I like. Not just because he turned into two people, but because each one of them brought something different to the table. Ronnie was a jock. So he had the body, the physical body of Firestorm. But Martin Stein, who was unconscious at the time of the explosion when Ronnie was trying to rescue him, is not in control of the body, but he's still there. Ronnie can still talk to him and hear him, and Professor Stein can see and is aware of everything around him. So they actually become, they actually help each other. Ronnie has an abusive father, so Martin becomes like a father figure to him, and they actually, you know, he's got to use these powers, but he doesn't want to destroy the universe with them, and so he has to listen to this scientist constantly telling him how to do it properly. And they used him on the Flash TV show. Yeah, no, right. That'd be cool too. They used him on the Flash TV show, which made me super excited because it was the first time any main media would have Firestorm in it. And then they ended up retooling it for Legends of Tomorrow, and they introduced Jax. Now, Jax is actually based on one of the characters from the comic book, his best friend, Jordan Jackson, but they just called him Jax. So that's his best friend. So they just like, we really use this. We need to use him because we can't get Robbie Amell because he's doing the X-Files. Okay, I just went way off there. But anyway, point is, Firestorm.
Character.
Yeah.
My favorite character. This is his favorite character, so it's
Firestorm does a lot of really cool things. I've only ever met one person who liked Firestorm as much as me at Dragon Con about 10 years ago, my friend Shag. If you check he literally runs the firestormfan.com fan page. So if you want to learn more awesome Firestorminess, see me in my Firestorm cosplay, just modern and past, go to his page, firestormfan.com. Otherwise, we got to move on because we got one more flavor.
It's the big one.
All right.
It's so red.
It's actually red.
Oh, God.
Actually, I think we do. Okay.
No, red.
Okay.
We can't lose you early. Oh, God. How are we doing on Milk Boys?
I'm good. This is Buffalo Wild Wings, extra hot. Now I'm going to be honest with y'all.
Is there actually 3 extras in the extra?
There's actually 3 extras.
Extra.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God.
But it is not the wicked. It is not the absolute apex of their heat, which I'm glad because of the way these other ones were. I don't think we did them. But it's still pretty damn hot. So, yeah, we didn't get the weight. Now, as a bonus challenge, however, the guy over there gave me the last of the wicked sauce. It's enough for 1 wing.
Okay.
So, anybody.
Oh, is it like, do we not know which one is?
No, it's full size.
No, even though that would have been funnier.
That would have been funnier. Oh,
we
yeah.
should have thought about that.
We
should have just, they should have just
Like
handed us one at random.
Okay.
And been like,
this
what?
is estimated Scoville of 1 million, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's okay. So we were gonna get some from another place that had ghost pepper wings, but that we found out that's not even a Texas company. So when we talked to the guy over at the Wicked Wings, he's like, yeah, these are probably actually a lot hotter than the ghost pepper. So I'm concerned. I'm concerned.
Right. Well, and then we were. It's like we flew too close to the sun for a minute, and we thought we were going to do Carolina Reapers because we forgot about Scoville ratings until as we were planning this episode.
They're like, oh, California Reaper pepper.
Right. That sounds fun.
Is that better or worse than the ghost pepper?
And then compare the two Scoville ratings, and it's like the Carolina Reapers like almost double the ghost pepper, and I was like, oh no.
I feel better than I thought that was, but you know, I am Cajun, so.
All of those turned out real
We're
good.
on Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze.
All right.
Appearance, Marvel Spotlight number 5, August 1972. Creator Roy Thomas.
That's why we was gonna do Ghost Peppers.
Yeah, because Ghost Rider's our big one. Oh god.
Oh, okay.
Nice knowing you.
Okay.
Questions?
I see what they did there.
Hmm?
They were like,
It's not bad.
it doesn't need to taste like chicken.
I'm scared.
Let's just make it heat.
Yeah, it's just like it's like the shape of chicken. The texture is enough.
Chicken, what's that?
Oh.
Okay, see?
I might as well be swiping my fingers.
This is one of those ones right straight up. This is one of those ones that burned in my face.
Right? I feel so bad because I was like, what? I'm chewing it and it's fine. And then finally I swallowed it and I feel like, oh no.
Okay. This is the only one that's truly a buffalo wing as well, just so you know.
Yes.
What we have going on here. So there's the combination of that and like the vinegary taste. So
somehow we got all sweet
it hits you. Yeah.
instead of hot.
I know. I was trying to get a couple of them. I thought we'd be dry rub, but
Yeah, but
I'm actually surprised they were all sauce.
I am getting a pint of homemade vanilla, and God help me, some root beer.
I know, I'm sitting here like, I've got to eat it all, them's the rules.
I'm gonna eat the one.
Let me tell you people something. I don't drink soda, but this is a special occasion. So on the way home.
Oh no, that was a mistake.
No, stay with us.
No, my lips.
It's like we got, oh no.
Milk.
It's like we had a little, like we had it, you know how whenever you fry stuff, you have that little piece of skin that's just, I ate that piece and I chopped down on the buffalo and I'm like,
all the, yeah.
oh no.
Okay. No, it's just my lips. My lips are, my mouth's okay.
Oh, there it is.
My mouth is okay.
Yeah, but yeah. I'm like,
Okay,
I feel
Ghost
like
Rider.
I'm eating drool,
Yes,
and I'm
let's
like,
go back to
no.
Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider first appears, the original Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze, first appears in when? What was it issue date? Marvel Spotlight, right?
Yeah, it was Marvel Spotlight.
Yeah, it says Marvel Spotlight.
1972, Marvel Spotlight number 5.
Created by Roy Thomas, Gary Frederick, and Mike Flood.
Oh, thank you for talking. Read it.
So, I mean, oh, Jesus Christ. He's a
Language, oh, I'm sorry.
right? Someone smacked my hand. I'm sorry. It's like, but it's
Johnny Blaze.
Yeah, it's Johnny Blaze. He's a stunt motorcyclist.
Yes.
And he becomes Ghost Rider. He does the crossroads deal with the devil to save his father.
Well, in the comic book, it was the same as father, and it was the father and stepfather, technically.
I think it was in the movie too.
Yeah, it was the same.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, his father had cancer in the movies.
Yeah, his father had cancer. And anyway, he ended up becoming a supernatural avenger, capturing escaped souls and creatures that were.
It tastes real good. It's just a
it tastes
trap.
great. It tastes great. I don't know how anybody would want this water. I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway, so Nicolas Cage played him in 2 movies. One was a little campy. That's a nice way to say it. The other one, actually, they didn't know. Idris Elba was in the second one. But it's actually pretty good. It's a lot darker.
That's one of those I watched it and then it sort of disappeared from my.
But also that was like Idris Elba before he was America.
Before he was Idris Elba.
Like they knew him. Yeah. So that was that too. But I like that one better. I like the second one because they had in the second movie they used this boy that was being possessed and that was Danny Ketch, which was a nice nod to the comic book because in the 90s they revived Ghost Rider. And had a new character, Danny Ketch, become Ghost Rider.
So much
I know. That's one of my problems with this. I haven't tackled this one yet.
Oh yeah, no, we are separating these out, and I am a more awakened.
No, I want to eat more of the buffalo, but I'm going to try it with the blue cheese this time. So anyway, so
yeah, tell me if it dissipates it.
he did it when his sisters were killed by ninjas. Like I couldn't remember why.
I'm sorry.
What? Yeah, wait,
Killed by
what?
ninjas.
Back the
It was 1970.
back the teleprompter up.
We don't just gloss over ninjas in anyone's story.
Right.
Right, became the new Ghost Rider when he was injured by. Why were people worried about it being funny? What?
Oh my.
So he came into contact with a motorcycle that had been mystically enchanted to contain an essence of the spirit of vengeance, and that's how it became.
So
He
the
is
thing
a
about
vengeful devil spirit.
yeah, so the thing about Danny Ketch is they actually revealed that he wasn't just some random guy. He was actually Johnny Blaze's half brother. The cool thing about the current Johnny Blaze storyline was there's a brilliant story crossover last year by one of my favorites, Donny Cates. He wrote Damnation, and basically hell takes over Las Vegas, and Doctor Strange has to like claim it back from Mephisto. But in doing this, he creates a new team of Midnight Suns, which Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider is on, and their strategy is for him to basically, while Mephisto is distracted with his new hell in Las Vegas, for him to go and start a revolt and actually take over hell. So right now, his brother, they've gone and given Danny Ketch his powers back to try and talk his brother down off of a very fiery ledge. But yeah, Ghost Rider evolved to be the king of hell. So that's where I'm going with that one. So that's one of the reasons he gets to be on the top of this list, in spite of his other powers.
Yeah.
But he's one of the few characters when Marvel was doing their all new, all different initiative to add more diversity, they created a really cool replacement for him.
I feel like I super glued my lips together and then sung Manamana.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
It's one of those things where I'm like,
So if anybody has had a chance to, Gabriel Luna played him on the Shields t-shirt. I can't even
on
speak
the
now.
CW.
No,
No,
on the Shield.
no,
It's Marvel Agents of Shield.
Yeah.
That's
Marvel
ABC.
Agents of Shield.
Oh.
So yeah, Robbie Reyes version of cool thing about Robbie Reyes. So Robbie Reyes was a slightly younger Ghost Rider at this point, and he is. I know my husband got upset because he's like, well, this isn't really Ghost Rider, is it? So Ghost Rider, it was his power, and he had a motorcycle. Well, this kid, his brother is in the car with him, and he's doing this drag racing, trying to get enough money to get his family out of the ghetto or whatever. And basically, he steals a car, and the car he happens to steal was like this drug cartel's car that had stuff in the back. So they ran him off the road and killed his brother. Well, it turned out that he'd been haunted by another spirit of vengeance kind of thing. And so he makes a deal with him for his life that you can come back, but you have to seek out vengeance for me on Earth. And instead of it being the motorcycle, it's the muscle car. And yeah,
Oh.
it's the muscle car. And it's really cool too because the comic book version of him, now in the TV show, they make him more the flaming skull like your traditional Ghost Rider.
Mm.
In the comic book, his head kind of looks like the skull, but it's not a skull. It's actually part of the car. He looks like part of the muscle car.
What kind of car? Do we know what kind of car it is? Because I'm a very big.
I honestly don't know, but basically his head is chrome and silver.
I want to say it's a Charger, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, it's usually a Charger
usually,
when someo's like, I want to have a big, sexy, scary
It's
car.
old school muscle
It's usually a Charger.
Ever since Steve McQueen, right?
Because America. Just,
But yeah, he did make it to the TV show, and he was very popular. Almost had an opportunity to be made into
TV show.
which is a shame it didn't. Like I said, Gabriel Luna, he's local, right? He's from Austin area.
He is from Austin.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's from
okay.
Austin.
He actually comes back every once in a while.
Yeah, he came
into
back.
the store and signed some stuff.
He stopped
Really?
he stopped in the comic book stores to sign stuff. He's like really, really cool guy.
okay. Now it sounds terrible because we got to the end, but
And he was also in the Terminator movie that just came out.
Who was?
where's
Gabriel Luna.
Oh, the new Terminator. Yes, he was.
Brad,
Oh,
like,
he
where is
does
the
one now?
container?
I'm sorry, I was.
Where is the container?
I'm sorry.
Oh, somebody's gonna try the super hot.
I couldn't
Or
hear
well-
the wings.
Greg.
Where is it?
Wait, what?
It's like I lost my sense of hearing.
There's more.
It's like
no. There
well,
is
no.
a super duper duper
There's
crazy.
just one wing, one singular wing left. That's it.
That's
Or
a
well,
that's
I
sauce.
think
Yeah, I
think
think
what
it's-
we're gonna do is instead of
Show you
one
there.
person
It
trying
might
one
not be in
wing,
there. I think it's separate.
we're gonna take
These are both
the
blue
little
cheese, yeah.
container.
No, it's up there.
Yeah.
It's sitting outside of the contained thing.
I say we take the little container and then Greg just like lightly drizzles a little bit on each of our plates and we just dip a finger in and try it.
It should be over there, just sitting on the table.
It's like they were champs. They gave us the last bit of that sauce.
All right.
We're not gonna commit to a whole wing, but make just like
We're gonna give
just a little dip.
Greg a second to look for it while we look. So anyway, that's our top 8 fire superheroes.
Thank you for bearing with us, guys.
Firestorm is at the top because he was a fire elemental and basically had the ability to burn the entire planet down. And Ghost Rider gets the top billing because when his King of Hell powers kicked in, he had the complete and total power over Hellfire.
Which sounds
Yeah, because
cool.
I mean, if he needs a guard, then he can't be as powerful as one of these other guys. But I guess once you take
Ghost Rider, the one that is King of Hell is the one that gets top space. The other one, the Reyes one, is cool, but you know he's not. They're building him up more powerful.
I like my villains to be grounded. I mean grounded.
Yeah.
I like them to be. I like weak, not villains.
Yeah.
Heroes. I like weak heroes. That's not
Heroes that actually have to like solve
have to
problems.
work for-
It's gotta be a challenge. Yeah.
Instead of just being like, I'm Superman, I'm just gonna boop,
Yeah.
and it'll be done.
And that is my number one complaint with all of the current superhero media. Escalation. They start too high. You know?
Right? There's no power creep. There's no problem to have to solve anymore because they're just already.
That's why the DC New 52 failed, because they reset everything. Well, then they should have reset everything. Start telling those small, intimate stories again, and then build up. But they launched the reboot, and then they go bam into a multi-universal crisis, and they're like, well, where's the up?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a right ceiling. It's like, as much as everybody loved Endgame, it's like my brain is like, there's very few villains that I really feel are you're gonna meet.
Which fills me with Endgame because Endgame was.
I'm okay with that. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Just that whole like Infinity War thing. Just once you figure out what the real story is, you're like, why didn't we just go with that? That sounds cooler.
Well, I don't know the
That
all I know is from the movies. But the reason why I was going to say I'm okay with it is because there were 20 of them. So
Right.
I'm okay with it being
Right.
kind of done.
we gave it enough of a build up where we got that, because that's where some of the characters are getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're trying to make the next Avengers Endgame or the next Avengers Infinity War, and it's like, no, we've had like 10 years. We've had 10 years with these characters and 20 movies where we're just learning about their lives. And we're finally, like, this is a buildup of, like, years and years of stuff. And to have someone like DC being like, we're just going to drop this all here now. And it's like...
Well, yeah, it's too big, too fast. We need a better build up.
Too fast, too furious.
Right?
So the main thing about the difference between Thanos in the movies and in the comic books, they try to make him pseudo...
he's
altruistic in the movies. They give him this whole, I'm trying to save the world from, overpopulation and resource loss or whatever.
Yeah.
And in the comic book, he does it because he's in love with death.
Heard about that.
Like the literal entity of
She's not
death.
in the movies at all.
No. Oh yeah,
But Hela.
actually, there's like a little Easter egg of her when
Deadpool,
Star-Lord
I
opens
thought.
the thing to get the orb. On the floor, there's a carving, and it has all of the aspects. So Marvel has, for those of you who are like super deep into the comic lore, Marvel has a group of characters that are literally abstract entities. There is the physical embodiment of oblivion, the physical embodiment of eternity, the physical embodiment of the cosmos. And one of them is Death, who has a physical form.
and she's hot, apparently.
Well, everybody's hot.
Kind of,
yeah.
She appears that way. She appears that way to Deadpool because she's like actually fascinated with Deadpool never dying. So she's kind of like an obsession with him. In fact, he made Thanos jealous. But literally, Thanos, for those that you know, you're Greek. Thanos is or Latin for death. So Thanos is literally in love with death, and so he kills half of all life as a tribute to her.
Yeah.
Like, killing half of all life was like, it's like to get her attention.
Yeah.
It's worth reading because the dialogue between them gets
right. No, actually, it didn't, which is actually part of the story. She didn't care for him. She plays hard to get, basically, which is why the Deadpool story is so funny. Like, because she's just fascinated by him. He won't die, so she would sit there and wait for him to die when he was getting his powers and being tortured and everything, and nobody believed him that he knew death. And when Deadpool got married to the demon Shikala, she was jealous of death because he was asking her favors to help him. Wow. It's a funny little runaround, but yeah, no, Thanos is sticky. You want to do that, but that's not fire. Oh, but you know what a good Thanos segue is? Cosmic Ghost Rider. So we forgot to bring up Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is like the Ghost Rider of all Ghost Riders. Again, Donny Cates.
One question.
Brilliant.
Are we done with the wings?
If you wish to be, you are done with the wings.
All right, so I'm gonna see about this.
You are done with the wings. Actually, I think we all did pretty good.
Strawberry milk, yeah.
I actually really liked all of these flavors.
I did the curry one. It's really good with
I usually like warm milk, but it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so,
no, you did good.
There for an hour.
Donny Cates wrote a Thanos series in which basically Thanos wins. It's like, what would happen if Thanos actually got his way and was the master of the cosmos or whatever. And it's basically a story where they had to go get modern day Thanos to go defeat his future self because he went too far. It's hard to keep up with. Here's the point. Thanos' lackey in this story was Cosmic Ghost Rider. And the big engaging thing was the mystery of who is this Ghost Rider, because he was just completely bizarre. Has a really cool look, and has a space motorcycle, and so he can ride the motorcycle in space and everything. And eventually they reveal that it's actually Frank Castle, the Punisher. Who,
that's not where I thought that was going to go.
Not at all. Not at all. So what did how did he end up getting this? First he got the Spirit of Vengeance, right? Something happened where he was dying and he was offered the Spirit of Vengeance.
He was like tight.
But then he got screwed because he ended up becoming basically immortal. And so when the Earth was destroyed, Galactus gave him a chance to leave Earth by becoming a herald. So he got the power cosmic, hence the space motorcycle. And then I've got
to find a picture of this.
It's amazing. Cosmic Ghost Rider is so funny. It's like, what if the Punisher finally snaps and here's the fun part. No, Thanos didn't rescue him from the Earth. He actually stayed around on the Earth by himself for like 100 years or something before Galactus came and offered him a way out. So if you want to imagine insane Punisher, Ghost Rider, Silver Surfer hybrid.
Right.
What a title! What a title! Sorry, the first one I pulled up is Cosmic Ghost Rider, Baby Thanos Must Die. Like amazing, amazing.
He went back in time to murder Thanos as a baby.
Well, where would we?
But ended up adopting him or something. It's weird, and raising him.
Where would we be if the world hadn't shut down? I mean, we would have had our Black Widow by now, right? We would have had Wonder Woman, and I feel like there was another Suicide Squad.
Maybe you would have been better.
In August we would have had Falcon and
Winter Soldier
by now, yeah.
So we're so behind at this point.
Yes, it's part of my.
As a matter of fact, we're gonna have WandaVision before we get Falcon and Winter Soldier now.
I told everybody I had a theory that Disney's responsible for COVID because they want the rest of the world to catch up with the 5-year time gap. So that by the time the movies come out, they'll be back at real time again. So watch, if in 1 year, 2 years, after this 2 years, and then they get the cure and everything goes back just in time, because then we'd be caught up. So
my God.
No. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Anybody have anything to say about any of the characters or any of the wings or any of the stuff or anything to plug?
I think Firestorm's outfit is really, really cool. I've
always loved his design.
He is.
Yeah,
I always liked his outfit.
The cool thing, Firestorm was written to be DC's answer to Spider-Man. They wanted to have a high school character with woes and strife and kind of thing. And they thought, wouldn't it be funny if he only had this power when his high school or Stein became his professor, his teacher, with his scientists like following you around, tugging your ear, telling you what to do, and trying to caution with you, and they're arguing and stuff. So I always thought that was amazing for that. So if you ever read the comic books, it's very much like that. Ronnie Raymond is very much a Peter Parker-esque character. And then they were like, rather than being the nerd, let's make him the jock and see whether if it's from the jock's point of view. And so that's what's kind of fun. It's like he even has to start studying nuclear physics from the atom, because he has to be able to do it faster than waiting on the professor to do it for him. So as a high school jock who has to know all this
he
nuclear
actually
physics
has to know
and stuff
information.
to save
That's
his life and
adorable.
everything. Made it a really, really fun comic book. But yeah, his design was always one of my favorites from, because it was when they first started redoing new DC stuff. Cool thing about Firestorm, and he has a unique place in comic book history, is that he was one of the very last characters created in the Silver Age. He had only had like a mini series done, but then it got canceled when DC had their the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then they branched out and rebranded. So he was one of the few characters that his story changed nothing. They didn't reboot or anything. Like when they picked his comic book up again after the miniseries, it was unaffected, because he was like one of the very last Silver Age, but technically first Bronze Age superheroes.
All right.
So yeah, he was actually pretty cool. So and yes, I cosplayed him, and I'm going to do so again. So help me.
Yeah. All right.
So,
We're gonna squeeze some plugs. Plugs. We have a guest. Plugs.
What do you want us to plug?
Look, oh, hey, because I do stuff. I have, like I said, my Instagram, Dark Lord Have Mercy on Instagram. It is my Star Wars alternate ego. Have several of those. And then of course I teach. I'm a fight choreographer, and I teach fight choreography, martial arts type things. Of course, now that the world is dying, we do that while social distancing. So I'm teaching people with staffs right now, so we can social distance and.
Well then check out Firelord.
Yeah.
Set the blended staff.
I dig it. All right.
So yeah, keep up with us. We're going to be doing some new fun stuff on the Red Web coming up this year, and we hope that you enjoyed tonight's show.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Take care.
Oh, by the way, make sure that you've liked and commented, because we're going to do a drawing from everybody who did that.
And share the video.
Please share. Get us out there. We love you, and thanks for joining us this week.